I saved my father's life during a storm and fell into a coma. When I woke up 3 months later, my inheritance was gone, my stepsister wore my grandmother's ring, and the people I trusted most had stolen everything. The first thing I noticed when I woke up wasn't the beeping machines or the tube down my throat. It was my stepmother, Patricia, sitting in the visitor's chair, wearing my grandmother's emerald ring. My grandmother's ring, the one she pressed into my palm before she died, whispering, "This stays with blood, Natalie, promise me." I must have made a sound because Patricia looked up from her phone, her face cycling through surprise, annoyance, and finally settling on fake concern. "Oh, you're awake." She stood, not to call a nurse, but to gather her things. I'll go get your father." The ring caught the light as she moved. My ring, my grandmother's ring on her perfectly manicured hand like it belonged there. I tried to speak, but the ventilator wouldn't let me. My last memory was clear though. The tree falling toward Dad during the storm. Me shoving him out of the way. The sickening crack as it pinned me instead. 3 months, the nurses told me later. I'd been in a coma for 3 months. Dad arrived an hour later, and I knew immediately something was wrong beyond the ring. He wouldn't meet my eyes, kept fidgeting with his phone. Looked older but also guilty. "Natalie," he said carefully, like I might break. "How are you feeling?" I gestured weakly at the ventilator. Obviously, I couldn't answer. "Right. Of course, the doctors say it can come out tomorrow." He sat down, still not looking at me directly. There's something we need to discuss about your grandmother's estate." My heart monitor spiked. The nurse had removed the breathing tube that morning, but my throat was too raw to speak above a whisper. I managed one word. "What?" He finally looked at me then, and I saw it all in his eyes. The betrayal he was about to confess, the justification he'd already built in his mind. "Your sister was here every day," he started. "Stepsister. Lauren was Patricia's daughter from her first marriage. We'd never been close. She'd been 20 when Dad married Patricia 5 years ago, already out of college and working at Patricia's real estate firm. She treated our father's house like a hotel and me like the staff every single day." He continued, "While you were unconscious, she held vigils. She organized meal trains for Patricia and me. She handled things." "The ring," I whispered, his face flushed. "Your grandmother's estate was distributed 2 months ago. We couldn't wait. There were tax implications, and you were." He gestured vaguely at the hospital bed. "Lauren needed the money for her wedding. You know how expensive, all of it." My voice cracked. "Silence, Dad, all of it." He stood abruptly. "Family is about showing up, Natalie. Lauren showed up. You weren't available. I was in a coma, saving your life. That's not. You don't understand how hard these 3 months have been. Patricia has been beside herself. Lauren's been our rock. We needed to make decisions. You gave her my inheritance. She's family too," he snapped, then caught himself. "Look, when you're feeling better, we can discuss some kind of arrangement. Maybe, Lauren would be willing to get out." I reached for the nurse's call button, pressed it repeatedly. "Get out." The nurse who responded took one look at my face, my vitals spiking dangerously, and ushered him from the room. "Sir, you need to leave now." As the door closed behind him, I heard him tell Patricia in the hallway, "She's being unreasonable. After everything Lauren's done. Everything Lauren had done while I was fighting for my life because I'd saved his." The next days blurred together. Physical therapy, breathing exercises, learning to walk again. But my mind was sharp, focused on one thing, the complete betrayal by the man I'd nearly died protecting. My best friend, Vera, flew in from Seattle the moment she heard I was awake. She was the one who filled in the blanks, showing me Lauren's social media posts from the past 3 months. "Look at this," Vera said, scrolling through Lauren's Instagram. She documented every single hospital visit like she was gunning for sainthood. The posts were nauseating. Lauren posing with prayer hands outside the ICU. Lauren bringing my father coffee with captions about staying strong for family. Lauren wearing designer outfits to her vigils, which seemed to last exactly long enough for a photo op. But one post made my blood run cold. It was from 6 weeks ago, Lauren at the lawyer's office, signing papers. The caption read, "Blessed to be trusted with carrying on Grandma Ellen's legacy. G family first, grateful heart." She called my grandmother Grandma Ellen. My grandmother, who barely tolerated Patricia, and actively disliked Lauren after she tried to have Grandma declared incompetent to manage her own finances. "There's more," Vera said quietly. She pulled up a wedding planning website, Lauren's wedding registry. The requested cash gifts started at $500. "Look at the venue," Vera continued. I looked at my stomach dropped. "That's Grandma's house." "Not anymore. According to property records, it was sold 8 weeks ago to a development company. They'd sold my grandmother's house, the house where I'd spent every summer, where she taught me to bake, where she built her art studio in the backyard. The house she'd specifically left to me because she knew I'd preserve it, not flip it for profit." "How?" I whispered. "The will." "That's the thing," Vera said. "I did some digging. Your dad had power of attorney while you were incapacitated. He used it to accept the inheritance on your behalf, then immediately transferred everything to Lauren as a gift. Legally gray, but technically possible." "How much?" I asked, though I already knew it would hurt. "The house sold for $2.8 million. The cash assets were another $1.2 million, plus the jewelry, the art collection. $4 million, I finished. He gave Lauren $4 million while I was in a coma from saving his life." Vera held my hand while I processed this. $4 million. My grandmother's entire life's work meant to secure my future, fund the art therapy nonprofit I dreamed of starting, gone. Financing Lauren's designer wedding, and Patricia's new Mercedes. "What do you want to do?" Vera asked. I looked at her, really looked at her. Vera, who'd flown across the country the moment she heard I was awake, who'd spent hours researching what had happened, who brought me real food instead of hospital jello, and sat through my physical therapy sessions. "I want to make a call," I said. The law firm of Chen and Associates specialized in elder law and estate disputes. Mr. Chen himself came to the hospital after reviewing the documents Vera had gathered. This is unconscionable, he said flatly. Using power of attorney to circumvent a will's clear intentions while you were in a medically induced coma, after you were injured saving his life. We have a case. I don't want to sue my father, I said. You're not, Mr. Chen corrected. You're suing to recover stolen assets. Your father made himself complicit. But the target is the recipient of the fraudulent transfer. Lauren, my stepsister, who performed hospital visits for Instagram likes while helping steal my inheritance. There's something else, Mr. Chen added. The house sale, it wasn't arm's length. The development company is owned by Patricia's brother. They undervalued it by at least $800,000. Of course they did.